This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
DMK Chief Karunanidhi tells the state government to follow the Mamta way by reducing sales tax on fuel, says the centre should not make excuses. A huge relief for the residents of Srirangam constituency as Jayalalitha ensures quick steps taken for civic issues. Will Lokayukta be formed in Tamil Nadu too? Members of the committee will be identified soon to be completed within 2 weeks' time. First, Vellore and Namakkal, now Salem district, plays witness to a massive head-on collision, 10 die and many left injured.
For a two-wheeler, they negotiate and the Volvo bus, that is from Karnataka, right side on the opposite and the vehicle.
Experts say it is the street children that are most hooked on the drug abuse, chemical inhalants available cheap over the counter.
None of these other drugs are covered under the NDPS Act. Because they're all, it's all for basically personal use or for domestic use.
On International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, the theme this year is to think of your health and not drugs.
Say no to drugs and lead a healthy life and to save the humanity against drugs.
The third annual Rainbow Pride Parade by the LGBT celebrating other sexualities brings solidarity from straight supporters as well. Welcome to the news tonight. A very special interview coming your way with the Union Home Minister P. Chidambaram. But before we bring you that story and the other top stories, let's take a look at the national headlines. Many would like to hear the Prime Minister step up to the plate and speak up on the Lokpal bill, Chidambaram tells NDTV. UPA allies NCP and DMK criticize the government for the fuel and gas price hike. The Haryana Congress removes VAT from kerosene. In Delhi, Ramdev visits an injured supporter hits out at the government. 2 more cases of rape reported in Uttar Pradesh. Mayawati says she's being targeted because she's a Dalit. Following allegations of mishandling of funds, a public meet held calls for transparency in the Sai Baba Trust dealings. Saina Nehwal loses her Indonesian Open crown to world number 3 Wang Yihan in 3 hard-fought games. DMK, a key partner of the ruling UPA, today criticized the hike in fuel prices, saying it would badly hit the middle class and poor and urged the centre to make efforts to permanently solve the issue. In a statement, he said the centre should not rest by merely defending the hike on some excuse every time the issue arises, but treat it as its utmost duty to completely solve it as the hike affects the public, especially middle class and people living below poverty line. Karunanidhi also asked the Tamil Nadu government to reduce sales tax on fuel prices, emulating West Bengal government and also as done by his government in the past. Poll promises continue to be met by the Chief Minister, and what better place to start with immediate effect than her own town constituency. Now, Jayalalitha has gone all out to resolve the civic issues brewing in Srirangam. According to a media release, 13 dysfunctional street lights in Subiyapuram village were rectified, and drinking water supply system has also improved after the Chief Minister asked district collectors to take quick steps. A road work is also taken up in the village following public demand and will be over by July 4th. During the Chief Minister's visit to the constituency from June 19th to 21st, she received complaints from the public and is following them up right now. And now on to a very special story here on NDTV Hindu. Chennai is considered a conservative city. But did you know that everything from designer drugs for the rich kid to over-the-counter inhalants that rag pickers are hooked onto is available on any street in the city? Our reporter Pratiksha Ramkumar found out that cheap alternative of drugs is now becoming a huge struggle for the NGOs to overcome.
4 years ago, 20-year-old Vinod, a mechanic from Tiruvattiyur, used to spend quite a bit of his pocket money on a local variety of gutka and pan. He felt the momentary sense of relaxation was worth it.
இப்போ ஃப்ரெண்டுங்க கூட சேர்ந்து அவனுங்க பாக்கலா கொட்டி விட்டானுங்க. அதனால கெட்ட பழக்கம் ஆயிடுச்சு. கவுன்சிலிங் எடுத்தாங்க. அதனால எல்லாம் கெட்ட பழக்கமா விட்டேன்.
Other boys are not so lucky. Counsellors say what begins with pan quickly shifts to tobacco, marijuana and even chemical inhalants. In fact, NGOs say that street children are the most hooked.
We find them in a later stage when they are really addicted to the core. Then it's not very easy to rehabilitate them. They should take the decision that they have to come out of it. Since they don't have parents or they are not all the time under some adult supervision.
Most chemical inhalants popular with street children are available over the counter at most departmental stores at prices between 14 to 100 rupees. No wonder today's rag picker can afford and thrive on the drug abuse. In fact, the most used chemical inhalants are aerosol sprays, spray paint, deodorant, and hairsprays, vegetable oil cooking sprays and static cling sprays, nitrites room deodorizers and capsules that release vapors when opened, volatile solvents like thinners, nail polish removers, fevicols and fuels, and gases like medical gases, cream dispensers and propane lighters. If sniffed or snorted regularly, the most affected parts are the brain and the nervous system.
They can cause lung infections or they can cause inflammation inside the oral cavity. While inhalation, they can cause ulcers in the nose and all.
That's not all. None of these addictive substances are banned by the law. But are these harmful chemical inhalants really prohibited?
Under the NDPS Act, only the ganja is covered. But here, because of the easy availability of these pharmaceutical drugs across the counter, where there's nobody goes very strictly about checking the prescriptions or checking the, whether the person requires so much of drugs or not.
It's counseling at rehab centers that top the cure list, along with medicines that help reduce withdrawal symptoms and bouts of depression. But experts say it is awareness that the most vulnerable people lack.
Best way is we have to educate about the ill effects of the drugs. And we have to catch them at the starting of the drug use.
NGOs dealing with street children have mainly been concentrating on youth camps and clubs to tackle the main issue being peer pressure. But with street children lacking strong familial influence, complete rehabilitation of hardcore addicts is still the tallest mountain to climb. In Chennai, with camera person Arun, this is Pratiksha Ramkumar for NDTV Hindu.
On to another special story from Chennai. In 2009, the Delhi High Court passed a landmark judgment decriminalizing consensual sexual acts of adults conducted in privacy. 2 years on, as the LGBT community gather for the third edition of the Rainbow Pride March in Chennai, our reporter Bertilla finds out if the proposal has brought about a change in people's attitude to transgenders and other sexual minorities. Vikrant feels liberated. He is not embarrassed to acknowledge his homosexual partner, Roop, in public anymore. Both of them were among the hundreds of participants who came together for the Rainbow Pride March to drive home a point that it's time to come out of the closet.
He has been accepting slowly, and there has been a lot of acceptance. The family, from the office, from the colleges, there has been a lot of acceptance. You can see a lot of straight friends around who are actually giving us support here.
Expressing a strong need to end harassment and intolerance against people with alternate sexual leanings, the community is also aware of the legal stand of this universally sensitive subject, such as Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code.
This is not a call for doing away with 377. We need 377 for other cases like, sexual assault and, childhood sexual abuse and all of that. We are only talking about consensual acts between adults. And what the Delhi High Court did was, a landmark judgment of Shah and Muralidhar, and we're hoping that the Supreme Court will uphold it. It was supposed to come up for hearing in April, and I think it's going to happen next month.
Since the first Pride March in 2009, the Tamil Nadu government has been keen and proactive in recognizing the needs of this group. As a first step, they have already issued ID cards, ration cards, and have also allotted houses for them. Even the central government has included transgenders in the 2011 census. Meanwhile, society is slowly beginning to accept such people. They are not viewed with intolerance by everyone anymore.
And as a straight person, for me, this sort of movement brings together those of us that are working against gender oppression in a variety of realms.
In fact, it just gives me an opportunity to talk to my other friends also about these issues, and the response has been quite positive.
The LGBT community eagerly awaits the amendment of Section 377 of Indian Penal Code. They say the bigger battle that they have to fight is one against discrimination, social rejection and stigma. They hope pride marches like this one will definitely bring a positive change in people's attitude towards them. With camera person Madan, Bertila, NDTV Hindu.
Now, there are quite a few people who will be asking this next question. Will Lokayukta be set up in Tamil Nadu too? The president of the Right to Information movement on June 6th presented a memorandum to the Tamil Nadu chief minister to set up a Lokayukta. Subsequently, a 3-member team of the Right to Information movement also met the Karnataka Lokayukta, Santosh Hegde, to guide them in the process of preparation of suggestion to Lokayukta Act. Based on that, the Right to Information Movement's president, John Lopez, today met Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer in Cochin and requested to be in the draft committee, to which he agreed. Other members of the committee will be identified soon and the process will be completed in 2 weeks' time. Well, coming up on the other side of this short break, a very, very special interview with the Union Home Minister himself, P. Chidambaram, where he talks about the big issue of the Lokpal bill. Coming up.